Well, our next presenter here today is Regency Silver, RSMX on the TSX Venture Exchange, and I'm joined by the CEO, Bruce Bragagnolo. Regency Silver has a high-grade past-producing silver asset in Mexico, but Bruce and technical team decided to test a down-dip extension of that mine and came up with a quite remarkable gold discovery that Bruce is going to talk about today. Their first drill hole returned 36 meters of 6.84 grams per ton gold, 0.8% copper, and 21 grams per ton silver. And if you're a gold and silver investor, you know those are pretty significant grades. And they followed it up with another hole of 29.4 meters of 6.32 grams per ton, which is an excellent follow-up. So I'll let Bruce take it from here. He's had a lot of success in Mexico, and we're super excited to bring them on board to talk about this discovery.
Hi, Arlen. First of all, thanks for hosting Kinvestor Days. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to present our flagship project in Mexico. It's quite remarkable when you hit that type of grade on your first hole. It just doesn't happen very often. Regency Silver is a relatively new listing. We listed on the TSX Venture in April of 2022, and in our very first drill hole, and that's a picture of it on the screen, we drilled 36 meters of 6.84 grams per ton gold, 0.88% copper, and 21.8 grams per ton silver. As you said, we followed it up with a hole of 29.4 meters of 6.32 grams per ton gold in hole Regency 2314, and also 2315 hit significant intercepts of gold. I want to point out we do have a 43101 compliant silver equivalent resource at the historical Dios Padre silver mine, and that's a resource alone of 11.375 million ounces of silver equivalent at 255.64 grams per ton silver equivalent is pretty darn good. That is the type of grade in a resource that most companies are looking for. And for us right now, that's not even our main target. The main target is the new discovery that we made in 2022. The reason we drilled off a resource initially was just to backstop the valuation. Right now, we're getting approximately $1.50 per ounce for in the ground for silver resources. So that's a very cheap valuation compared to where it was a few years ago. So I'm the executive chairman and director. I founded Timmins Gold Corp, SilverMex Resources, and was a director of Continuum Resources, which owned the San Jose mine, which we sold to Fortuna Silver as a merger in 2004. Hesper Groenewegen is our CEO and director. He's the managing director at Silver Arrow Partners in New York and the co-founder of the Gold Arrow Fund. Mike Thompson is our independent director. He's a former lawyer and investment banker. And Mike Tucker is our head geologist. He has done an outstanding job with Dios Padre, really maximize the bang for the buck with our drill program. First of all, in 2022, made the discovery in 2022, and then followed up with a successful program, of which we still have 7 holes to release in 2023. So long history in Mexico. I've been down there for 20 years. That is a picture of the San Francisco mine that we built in 2009-10. And that's us listing Timmins Gold on the New York Stock Exchange in 2012. There's some similarities here. We took Timmins Gold from an IPO market cap of $7 million to a market cap of US $475 million in 2012. That took a lot of hard work, took a lot of shoe leather. We got to meet a lot of people, a lot of financiers, a lot of providers of services in Mexico and other places. So it was a real kind of a learning experience, but I think we did a great job with Timmins Gold, built the mine on time, on budget, and produced 121,000 ounces of gold in 2014. Open pit heap leach mine in northern Sonora did very well. And at one point, we made $60 million in net income in 2012. Silvermex Resources, the assets of Silvermex Resources are now in Silver One. We took that company from a market cap of $7 million to a sale to First Majestic for $175 million. As I said, Continuum Resources was a real success story because we merged with Fortuna Silver, and the San Jose mine is now the flagship asset of Fortuna Silver. So why Mexico? I really love the country. Sonora is a great state to work in. The infrastructure is amazing in Mexico. Hermosillo is a mining center. You should have seen the sea of small white pickup trucks that were at the convention in October. Anything you need, you can get in Hermosillo. We're up in the mountains. It's fairly hilly. We climb up to Dios Padre by the Chihuahua border. There is a paved highway that goes to within 20 kilometers of the site, and they're paving 10 kilometers of that, and the last 10 kilometers is on a very well graded dirt road. So the access is amazing. All of our supplies are obtained in Hermosillo, including assays. And we have a very good workforce in the area because they've done a lot of exploration. So this is a very interesting area. There's lots of mines in the district. There's Dolores, Mulatos, Pinos Altos, La India. The San Francisco mine was up in the desert over here. But it's a very interesting area geologically as well, because the copper porphyry belt extends down past Dios Padre. The Mojave Sonora megashear extends through Dios Padre into Chihuahua, and then you have the Sierra Madre silver belt coming up from the south. And you can see there's some big mines in the district. This area we feel is very underexplored, and it's the type of area that deserves a lot of work. There's gold, silver, and copper in this district, which is exactly what we're looking for. So how did we find this discovery? Well, a lot of it is due to the advancements in modeling software. When we ran the old historical data along with our drill program from 2018 at the historical silver mine site, you could see that the dip of mineralization was 45 degrees to the north. And this is just based on modeling and geology. You look at that, you see the big IP target, which is clearly different. This IP target was first discovered back in 2012 by a previous option holder. So we knew we had a different situation here, probably copper. So we drilled underneath the IP anomaly, right through the heart of it, down dip, and right where we expected to hit it, around 400 meters, we hit the first discovery hole. Now, the nice thing about this hole is it's a very discrete zone, and the gold is just elevated. We were not expecting that level of gold. We knew there might be silver, we knew there might be copper, but the gold has been a very, very high grade, pleasant indication of more to come. So that type of grade over that width is very uncommon in Mexico. What's our model? Well, it looks like we're into some type of a porphyry with hydrothermal breccia. So there's been an explosive event. The host rock has been fractured, crackled up, and then at some point in time, we've had these various pulses of mineralization. These fluids have come up through that crackled rock under pressure and temperature, and where they deposit the gold is in the right pressure and temperature zone. And we've hit a lot of it. So it's depositing it in the right spaces, and we've had this beautiful breccia with quartz, pyrite, chalcopyrite, and chalcocite infill, high grade gold, high grade silver, and very good grade of copper. We expect that we're going to have different transitions. So as we get higher up in the system, it looks like the silver and gold will be deposited with the breccia. And then as we move down, we'll get silver, gold, and then probably gold, and then gold, copper. But there are separate events pulsing through, which is what you want to see in a large, long-lived porphyry system. Here's the core from hole 2201. This is the most spectacular core I've ever seen, with 6.84 grams per ton of gold and 0.88 copper, 21.8 grams per ton of silver. In Northern Ontario right now, they're mining 3 grams of gold. In Mexico, the highest grade gold mine is 5 grams. So it won't take us very long to add a lot of, and won't take a lot of drilling or time to add a lot of ounces at Dios Padre. This is hole 2314. You can see some of the gaps still in the breccia where the fluids did not deposit themselves, and where the you don't have these big crystals, but you can see the pyrite crystals are absolutely spectacular, and they're very indicative of where the gold is. Little separate here, a little different pulse in hole 2315. And it shows you the extent of mineralization here, that we hit 128 meters of 0.84 with a higher grade core of 32.5 meters at 2.23 grams. So you can see that the mineralization is slightly different here. It looks like we're getting more specularite, so a little more iron based, but that's what you want to see in these types of porphyries. You want to see a lot of iron metals. You want to see the chalcopyrite, you want to see pyrite, and you want to see gold and copper, obviously. So here's a bit of a model. Here's the old silver mine. We did drill a hole through the zone of highest chargeability from our own IP work, induced polarization. It's very interesting. You just send an electrical signal into the ground, and then you check the response time to see how chargeable the rock is. If you have a lot of copper or something that is chargeable, you're going to get a very rapid signal. So it's a very interesting process. It takes a lot of science to accomplish it, but they did a very good job for us. Our IP providers did a very good job, and we have drilled right through this zone of highest chargeability. Here's the modeled breccia zone. So we've got a dip towards the surface. The plan now is to continue following the gold zone along strike and also up dip. The only reason that we are down at 400 meters is because that's where we started. That was where we knew we had to drill to potentially find the results of our first hole. And we knocked it out of the park on our first hole. So now we have to do 50-meter spacings around that hole and move up dip and along strike to the southeast. The copper is in a distinct zone. It's above the gold zone. It looks like the copper is a separate event, a later event probably. The copper zone may even be the source of the silver mine. We still have some work to do to determine all that, but that'll come with more drilling and more geology. As we get more data points, we'll have much more information. We've already learned a lot about this system, how to drill it, where to drill it, what we expect to find. That's the drill turning. As I said, we have assays that will be released shortly. We did do the IP work in the summer, and the IP shows a big zone, some type of a pyritic halo, probably, which extends for a kilometer by 900 meters. So that's a big target, and that's something we're going to be following up on in the future. We did drill some holes through the edge of it and into it, as you can see here. So it's a big target. It has something to do with the porphyry and the mineralization at Dios Padre. Some of the intercepts from the silver mine in the past have been exceptional. 32.5 meters of 408 grams of silver. And this is something that attracted us to the project in the first instance. I've seen a ton of narrow vein silver mines in Mexico. Something that is 32.5 meters wide shows you there's some size to the system. So it's quite remarkable to see that type of a structure. There's 60-foot high workings inside the existing silver mine. There's no infrastructure there currently. There's no mill. There's no mine workings. But just to have that type of those type of drill holes left behind from previous workings and right beside them shows you how rich this system is. It does look right now like the silver mine has been faulted off from the gold copper zone. So we need to follow up dip to see exactly where it has faulted off. Here's our capitalization table and stock chart. Only 83 million shares outstanding. We had most of our broker warrants exercised last spring, and we only have 1.5 million share purchase warrants out. As you can see, we did have a bit of a tumble in April, but that was when a 4-month hold period came off some stock from a private placement in December, and that we had the selling event along with a lot of other companies. So it's a great place to work. We have access by, this is the access road that comes in from the small town of Santa Rosa, where we have our camp. It's only 10 kilometers away from the site. The roads are good. We can build roads wherever we need them. We're fully permitted for exploration. And we really feel here that we are on top of, right on top of a big mineralized system containing a lot of gold, copper, some silver, but this is just the start of the Dios Padre story. As we drill, we're fully of the belief we're going to be hitting a big copper, gold, silver porphyry system that is going to have a lot of life and a lot of legs. Our view is this is exactly what the mid-tiers and majors are looking for as far as new properties, and we aim to provide it for them.
That's awesome. Can you go back to your cross sections there?
This one or the
yeah there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about how we anticipate to see the different transitions of ore as we kind of move towards the silver mine.
Sure. So what we anticipate is that the silver mine has this zone in between is actually a fault. I hesitate to say in Mexico that every stream bed or arroyo is a fault, but I did have a chat with one of the old option holders, Silver Standard, down in Beaver Creek last week, and they said they identified a fault that cut between the property. So the silver mine is the top part of the system. It's been kind of truncated. The old theory was that this was a pipe of some kind, but it's not a pipe. This has been fed, obviously, from something underneath. It's been faulted off. So now we're going to be going up dip towards the silver mine. So we should be hitting gold all the way up. The gold seems to be getting higher grade as we go up, and then we should hit a gold silver transition zone, because there is still a fair bit of gold at the in the drilling that we did around the Dios Padre silver mine. So the Dios Padre silver mine is actually still a very live story for gold and silver. Mm-hmm. So gold and silver up top, same mineralization, same breccia as we have down deep. So it looks like the two are connected. They've just been displaced by a fault. So we expect to get instead of going down from the silver mine, now we're going to go up from the discovery.
Yeah, I like what you said that your silver asset is still very live, but your ROI is clearly drilling into intercepts with 30 meters of 6 grams per ton. So that's clearly going to be your focus when you get back there. Now, how are you going to, when you learned about like the trending of your zone, are you attacking it from a different angle now?
Yes, the modeling is showing us that instead of drilling directly from the north to the south towards the old silver mine, we should be coming in more from the east and drilling towards the west. It's amazing what a few data points can show you, as far as optimizing your drill program. So now we can have shallower holes and come up from the we were drilling a lot shorter and towards the west from the east.
Well, I look at the numbers that you have, and some naysayers will most likely say, yeah, it's a little deep. You clearly have some work to do towards your old silver mine. But I look at your grade thickness intercepts there, like your first discovery is like a 250. And clearly Snowline's got some higher grade, and Newfound's got higher grade, Lavras has got some higher grade, but like after that you kind of get into your category of premier discoveries, I think. What's going on in Mexico?
Well, Mexico has had a fair bit of news in the last while. I find Mexico to be a great place to work. I've been working there for over 20 years, so I know the lay of the land down there. What's happened is there is a new mining law, but it appears that it was passed in an unconstitutional manner. There's been a lot of litigation surrounding it. My belief is that will be struck over the next few months. Because it was passed in a manner that was unconstitutional. There's been a lot of lawsuits filed by Canadian mining companies in Mexico and by legal institutions in Mexico. The Supreme Court has found the courage to strike down other legislation that is passed unconstitutionally. So my belief in the rule of law is pretty strong, and the Constitution of Mexico is quite clear that you can't pass legislation on a Sunday night in a hotel room without the opposition party being there. So I don't see that legislation sticking.
Well, you are a lawyer, so that would make sense that you believe in the rule of law. And so you said 7 more holes pending. Have you kind of identified like a mineralized area at all within these? Like, I know you haven't put up results of those. Obviously, you put out some pictures of some of that core. You're clearly into the same kind of stuff visually.
Yeah, we announced that we have hit the mineralized zone consistently in our holes. We're just waiting for the assays back now. So this zone is fairly well defined, and we're getting multiple hits of mineralization. Now we just have to see what the grade looks like. But the core looks spectacular. I mean, I've seen it. We've announced it. The core looks great.
It's all publicly disclosed. Okay, so you're just in the midst of wrapping up a financing here. 20 cents a share with a half warrant at 30 cents. We got tons of people on this call, so if there are investors out there, please reach out to Bruce or ourselves. And if you're a high net worth individual or qualify for financing opportunities, then Bruce can let you know if there's anything left.
Great.
So
thanks,
Bruce, best of luck moving forward. This is super exciting, and I've enjoyed working with you, and let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I've enjoyed working with you too. I like the hard work, and this is a great place to showcase the company. And we firmly believe that we have one of the best projects in Mexico on our hands. Just going to take more drilling.